Hi, welcome to the Wide Open Road Arts Roving Conversation series. Today we're talking to Mel Jane Wilson and Enen. Mel Jane and Enen showed at Wide Open Road Art in collaboration with Anikwa Stevenson. These three artists are drawn together by their interest in the remnants of material presence. Mel Jane works across a range of material including painting, soft sculpture, textiles and installation. Likewise, Enen's practice is concerned with stripping away the excesses of modern life to reveal the everyday. About your practice, what drives it materially and conceptually?
So I work with painting, textiles and installations across my practice. I sort of make a lot of works intuitive based and material based. I use a lot of sort of salvage materials across my practice that sort of feed into all the work. A lot of textiles lately actually, I've been working with textiles for quite a while.
So is that recycling, does that tie into your conceptual?
Yeah, I think salvaging has been something that's been a theme in my work for quite some time. And it was something I briefly touched on in uni, and I think lately it's really taken a turn where I've really been sort of collecting materials from like op shops and leftovers from just other past works that I used to create new works.
What do you think are some of the important roles of the modern artists?
I think that it just depends on, because we're using things that are opposite to like digital works, and it's a lot more tactile.
Okay.
So I guess for me it's like using time, like slowing things down. And that's an important thing to come back to nature, or come back to like things using like connecting with the body. So it's different for each artist, but I think that what we have in common here is materials and collage that has that's informed our the way that we work, and it's not using consumerism, and it's using material remnants and things that we find, and things from bookshops or rocks or just.
So my next question is, do you think that artists have a social responsibility?
Yeah, I think it's a response. It's to like I try to make work now that doesn't create too much waste. And so the way I source material also informs the way I assemble them. So that's each artist has their own response, I guess, to what their responsibility in putting artwork out is, and so for me it's just important to have minimal waste. But what do you think, Mel? What
do you think about the artist's social responsibility? Do you think that we have one?
I think that as artists, we definitely all should have social responsibilities. Like, I know for me, I know respect is like the obvious one, I suppose like being like aware. Lately I've been working with a lot of textiles and that whole fast fashion dilemma. I have to be aware of like what damage some of the materials can impact others, so I think that's a really important thing to be mindful of in the works. I think we're all mindful in our own way as artists.
So do you feel that the work in some way addresses those issues, or that it can do something about those issues? And would that be an aim?
I think it depends on if someone approaches my work and if they take from that, if they read that message, that's great. I think I'm not sure if it's something like when I make the work, if I approach it with that. I know it's at the back of my mind, but it's not particularly the theme that I work with. If that makes sense.
And another question, which is interesting for you guys since you're doing a group show, but another question was, do you think that it's important to have an artist community?
Yeah, definitely. I think that while we were putting works up together, or just even coming to look at the windows, that dialogue is part of creating, and also opening up things that maybe we possibly didn't even think of doing, because we're looking at a window frame that's quite has its limitations, as well as opens up what we can do as something that's quite cohesive as well. That talks to each other. So we did have things in common, and I think that that's important to push our practice in that way to say what is it actually that we're, you know, looking at.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
To work together, you have to figure out what it is that you want, don't you? You have to kind of get to the crux of what you're doing to see if it matches with what someone else is doing.
Yeah, and collaboration, I think for artists particularly, are quite challenging. Like it's different to a film because you know the structure's there, and so you know who plays which and what's post and pre-production, and here it can start anywhere, and so it's actually quite you know, fluid in that way. And also, and it can be quite challenging because you think, oh, okay, so, you know, we were thinking about positioning things and how it looks like together, not just about my work or one, you know. So there are things I think, oh, okay, I wouldn't do that, but I'm glad I did. You know, because it's like, you read it in a different perspective.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, it's our first like project together as a collective. And it was really exciting to be wanting to sort of show together for some time, but we didn't know where to really start, and so this was like a great opportunity.
So do you feel like you have that artist community? Is that in your world?
Yeah.
Do you have any, individually and perhaps collectively, any philosophies that drive your practice?
I think for me, working with my hands, the handmade aspect, has been a really important theme that I've been working on for a few years now, and I suppose that with the whole like digital kind of machine, you know, drive, and you know, it seems to take away from that. So I think for me, it's always comes back to that tactile connection and just keeping with the traditional methods, so sewing and working with my hands has been a really big thing across my practice.
I can relate to that. Like it's just been creative, like coming back to, I mean, we all have our methodology, but also you know, there's cycles to you know, the process of what we do. And I think it's important to come back just to be creative again, and it could be, you know, just using clay or just, you know, fabric, cutting something up that keeps, you know, that connection. And I think it's just important, like to have that time and space for
definitely.
Coming back, returning to, you know, that creative side of us. And it doesn't have to be, you know, like a large show or but just, you know, small things that are resolved and have a dialogue. I think it keeps that, you know, that happening, that connection and joining the dots.
I definitely agree with you there.
And do you think that the three of you, is there something about your philosophy or the way that you approach art that's that you share, that's made you want to collaborate?
I think we all sort of share that connection with the working with organic kind of materiality of things, and I think we all sort of follow that organic connection. But we work with I worked with a lot of synthetic materials earlier on. I think it's just that fabric textile connection.
And also sourcing things locally. I think, you know, what's at hand as well. So that informs how, you know, that goes into our work and the decisions we make in that as well. I think that, like we all started out painting, so...
How did you?
Yeah.
Me too.
We all share that connection, definitely with painting. Painting definitely still feeds into all of our practice still. I work with watercolours and other area of interest where they sort of combine together. I've been trying to work out how they sort of link together for a while now in that relationship between the painting and the tactile. But
and I've used mostly starting out with collage, which still relates to this, and I paint my collages. So I take a photo and then so it goes through a few different processes to get to painting. So the process is more informative and more important than just the final product of a painting.
Anika also works a lot with collage too. So it's like, and I suppose I collage my paintings. I was by cutting up a lot of my I print my paintings digitally onto fabric.
Oh, do you?
Sometimes. I haven't done it in a while.
And then do you manipulate?
I manipulate them and cut them up and then create new pieces. So that's fabric collage.
Is that all on your website? Is that? That sounds really interesting.
I've got some documentation of all of my works on my website have been printed.
And I was introduced to that as well, the printing side, and taking photographs of movies, and then and taking photographs of blankets that I was borrowed from, and patterns.
What was the second one? Blankets?
So there was actually a rug shop here that I took a photo. there was like, you know, a pattern of like a Matisse kind of blanket. It was like then translated into a digital piece, which I painted from that. So yeah,
so you've definitely both doing that.
Yeah, we both share that
process. Yeah, like you're using digital, but it's still very process, like
that's where that tactile. That's where the importance that I touched on of like the hands, because I was sort of digitally printing all of these paintings, and then I was like, oh no, I'm losing the presence of the hands in my work. So so that was that sort of cycle of like, oh, you know, you want to keep the traditional modes of making alive, then you're also losing it to like you know, digital side of giving into like printing and sort of the way the work.
It's just like using different like materials or ways of working into the work, because it can be like robust in that way. So it's pushing painting again, you know, into you know, what is it?
Yes, exactly.
So or coming back to painting as well. You know, it's good to you know, find different ways and approaches. So it really opens the mind up to, like, you know, what's actually, you know, what we source, and you know, it was just good to have the limitations. Like, say, I just work from films, like film stills. And you know, some of them black and white. And so it was good to see, you know, the transitions, like in images that come from different ways as well.
Okay. So is there anywhere that you go or anything that you do for inspiration?
I think visiting shows, like me and Enen, we visit a lot of exhibitions together, and I think that definitely, like, I always go and I'm like, oh, you know, get inspired. And I suppose, like, op shops are another thing. Like, I'll go and I'll go and endlessly explore op shops for, like, you know, scraps of fabric, or like something like, oh wow, and like, you know, I have a large collection of fabric thanks to op shops and that inspire ideas. And I suppose I read a lot. I read a lot of magazines, like, you know, keep informed with art magazines, and I'll explore something online and discover an artist, and I think, oh we find our little ways. But I think we definitely encourage each other.
Definitely.
So that goes back to the artist community thing, like you draw inspiration from your community, by the sounds of it.
I think that's really important to have you know, to have that conversation going, and also like to try new things, to discover new things, and how you can, you know, use find a different method. Or, but you know, it usually expresses itself anyway. Like you find, like, it starts to, you know, connect anyway in how you approach something. So it's good to go away and then come back. And,
and we often share, like, we often have like a group message going on Facebook.
Oh, that's really handy, isn't it?
We often share like little articles or like you know, opportunities, and we think, oh, so like I think that is nice, like, considering like we live so far apart, that we can keep connected that way.
Absolutely.
It's really nice. It's inspiring.
That's great.
So at the moment, it seems like this is quite a tough time for artists to get by financially. So how do you guys get by as artists?
It's pretty hard, isn't it?
It is hard,
I think that I read somewhere in Denmark, I think they have the universal income scheme, and that's really good because that gives you know, artists who have unconventional lives the time and space to actually create, because we need so much creativity. It's not just, you know, we need the space for that, and and once sometimes it's like, oh, I've got time but I've got no money, I've got money but I've got no time. So you need that kind of, you know, way of, like, I don't know, looking at things again, and how we you know, how we fit in society, or how we can change.
I think we make sacrifices too, like, you know, at the moment my studio is my kitchen table. You know, and you know, I've just recently became a new mother, so you sort of have to sort of go, oh, okay, you know, my studio will eventually come, but I think it's kind of worth it though, like, the sacrifices that you make. And I think we get creative in the way we source our materials too, like, you know, you can find little things, you think, oh, that might inspire an idea later on, and But yeah, definitely the financial thing is difficult, as considering there's not much funding available anymore, and there's not, you know, not many jobs either that you can get after graduating art school. So
so these spaces are really good to you know, come together and do something experimental without too much pressure. So it's worth traveling here, you know, like getting together a few times to come here. And also I think it's really important for women to have that creative space to do that. And I think part of that's why we work with textile material, you know, as well,
because of the feminine connection to
it's connected to painting as well, like the material there, but also, you know, to take it out of the conventional way of looking at the way material has been used, and you know, and connect it to painting in that way, like, you know, it's like so I think it's important that you know, women, mothers, you know, all different, like it's to engage in that.
I think we've been sort of exploring spaces that, you know, don't cost so much as well, like, you know, trying to find you know, many opportunities, you know, we can, that's not, I think that's great too, that sort of, because it can get costly, making art can be costly.
I'm just dawning on me that, like, you can actually just do it. Like, I used to think that you had to, you know, like, go the traditional route, and it can get really expensive. But this is why I'm drawn to the public side of things, because it's like, just do it. It doesn't cost anything. You just make your art and put it there.
There's like so many like amazing, like, free little opportunities. I'm sort of hiding away, and you think, oh wow, like, it's great.
What do you consider to be good art?
Oh, I found that a really tough question to answer, but I guess for me, like, I feel like when I'm in an exhibition or a museum, I tend to gravitate more towards the tactile sort of spatial work. So maybe that's me going, oh, this is good, but I'm not sure. Like, it's a really tough one to answer.
Like, there's so much to read into art, and there's artists are so, you know, give so much as well. So I think the art speaks for itself, and really just being open to that. I think public spaces are really good. Like, there were a few people who walked past and had a chat with us.
People do,
that is nice,
which is
having
lovely.
that chat.
So good.
It's a really, it's nice.
A similar question, but not the same thing. Do you think that art has a role? Like, is there something that it could or should be doing?
I suppose it depends on maybe what the work is. Like, I think we all sort of communicate our own little messages, and it depends. Really on the space, maybe.
Visual work does communicate something. Like, have a message. And it's important that people see it. Like, it's like, you know, it's really important to have that discussion with people, you know, who do, you know, just walk past it and see, you know, have that talk, because you kind of wonder what do people see when, you know, you've got something up, and then it's good to hear that from people.
I think it is.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. It gives new readings as well. You think, oh, hang on, I never looked at the work like that before. You know, new little things to explore. Take away.
And it's good for them to meet the artists too, for that reason. Like, Okay, well, my last question was if you could have, like, your dream collaboration, and what was it, time and money and geography were not relevant, so it could be anyone at any time. What would that be?
I think for me it'd be like this endless, like, I don't know, field of fabric. Like, I'm really inspired by Makala Dwyer, this Sydney artist, and so I think it'd be like my dream collaborative, like, to work with her.
Is she contemporary? I don't know.
Yeah, she does a lot of, like, installation.
Well, that's great that she's contemporary, because maybe you can do it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, like, my chances, so. But yeah, it's just really,
you never know.
Yeah, it's just really inspiring for me. Makala Dwyer, awesome. Yeah, that would be my dream collab, like, just like, this massive, like, play of, like, just endless field of fabric.
Yeah, right. Lovely. What about you, Anne?
I guess like, I really enjoy working with people from different disciplines, like, say, musicians or poets, dancers. So it's just maybe it helps me shift my practice to a different space as well. And when people actually come into the space or the installation, that it changes it, and it gives it something as well. So it's activating, you know, the potential space.
So is there any particular discipline or person in any particular discipline that you'd love to work with? Or just I'm not sure?
Going across, like poetry, you know, musicians, like I'm working with someone at the moment who does piano and gamelan. And so I'm going to make paintings in response to that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because you know, it's not just we're using all the parts of the senses. So I think that for me is important.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, that's my last question. So
cool.
thank you.
Thank you.